Thank you everyone for joining us again for another episode of Forza Barca podcast. It's been a while, but we're back. We're gonna talk about the last few games. We're gonna focus more on the last one versus Cadiz, and then we'll talk about Bayern this week. It's gonna be a big game. It's gonna be something that's we've been looking forward to, testing our strength against a big team. This will be it. But first, let's talk about a little bit of what happened last couple of weeks. So, first of all, Mew, how you been? How's everything going? How's your Barca journey so far this season?
Uh, so far, I cannot complain. I'm thoroughly surprised by the performance. I'm the Debbie Downer here,
Yeah,
so for me it's been enjoyable so far. When we talk about the results, there is not much room for improvement in the last few games.
yeah,
If we are being honest, the results speak for themselves. Well, it's not always rosy and sunshine and stuff, but that's how football goes. As long as we get those results in, nobody will ask afterwards how we got those points, how we scored those goals. Um, what counts are the points and the titles at the end of the season.
it does. But I think, and I'm sure you agree that it's very satisfying for us as Barca fans when we actually play well and get the results, because that's all about us, the team playing good passes, sh- putting up a show for the fans in the Camp Nou and people are watching at home. Like when everything clicks that way, it feels nostalgic. It feels like the Barca that we want to see every time they play. And I feel like last few games we've been seeing glimpses of that. We've been seeing a little bit of magic from our players, from pretty much everybody that was in the field. You can see that they're putting their heart and soul in the field and trying to help the team as much as they can, which I feel like it's been missing for us. We had brilliant players, of course, but last couple of years has been a struggle to get to that point where we feel confident enough to do some of the plays we're doing right now.
No, I agree. It's if we just go straight into the game against Sevilla, I think a couple months ago. Of course, Sevilla is an opponent that is on paper always difficult to play, but the last couple of fixtures between Sevilla and Barca did go in our favor. So even when we were at our worst, it did go in our favor. But if we talk just about the moment in the season and having those difficult games, there are Sevilla is not at their best, but everybody plays their best when they are playing against Barcelona.
Yep.
So just to put it into perspective, I think that a game like this, where we got to talk about the first two chances by Sevilla, which were absolutely saved by Ter Stegen's
Yep.
performance. And I think in another season, namely the last season, those goals probably would have gone in, or something else stupid would happen, and the individual mistakes would cost us those games, but not this time. And this switch in mentality is what was lacking in the last season, especially in the last season.
Yeah, yeah, and I agree with you. The it made me kind of nervous because we talked about how Sevilla was not in a very good place this season, and they're been struggling pretty much every game they've played. So going into it, we were thinking, okay, so they're struggling, so that could be an opportunity for us to finish the game quick and not have to worry for the rest of the match. But as soon as they started, we're like, oh, they're pressing high. They're trying to get us to lose the ball in our half. Start to get to worry that maybe maybe even if they're not at their best, they're still gonna put up a show in front of us, and they're gonna try to pressure us as much as they can and try to score as early as they can. Because you notice that if you remember they pressed us as high as they could so they can score. I think that was their intention, is to try to um, cut our opportunities before they even get to the midfield, and force us to do long balls where they most likely won't make it. But unfortunately, I feel like the team, even though there were some moments where we're like, oh, they might score now. Oh, this is not looking good. I feel like the team was able to turn it around, and after the first 15-20 minutes, and actually take control of the pace of the game.
No, absolutely, I agree. Um, it's always difficult against a top class team like Sevilla, which are always playing for the Champions League spots. To put on a show is very unlikely for Barcelona, especially at their venue. It's going to be difficult. Those games are going to be difficult, and to prevail and have that intensity, especially in the second half. I think we had a lot of chances to even double, not double the score, but score like 4 to 5. And I think, of course, Sevilla wanted to come back into the game and had to do something, which gave us a lot of space. But at the end of the day, I think what impresses me the most is that we have that depth now, and I've never thought that in a matter of a year we would get that depth that we have now. You have a lot of talented player on the bench waiting to come on. We have a lot of talented player on the pitch that are performing well. I mean, we got to talk about Usman Dembele later on, and we got to talk about Lewandowski. And I was not a fan. I was not a believer,
I know you
and
weren't.
he's proving me wrong, man. It's it's all in those games. I mean, the last 3 games, and unfortunately, we couldn't make it happen to talk about those games right away, straight
Mhm.
away. I think that will change with Bayern. However it goes,
Yeah.
we will react to it instantly, and it's going to be fun weeks ahead. I think either way, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting to talk about the state of Barcelona.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And it gives us a little bit of relief to know that the players are clicking well together. I mean, it's a lot of them, and if you look at if you look at the people that left versus the people that are came through, it's where we got, well, I don't know, I didn't count, but at least like 8 or 9 players total that we got that are new for the team. So it's kind of like difficult for us to be like, okay, well, they should quickly become play together like they've been playing together for years. But this not gonna happen. It just needs time for the players to click and gel together. And I thought, honestly, I thought it would take longer than that. I thought it would take 3-4 games before we start seeing those connections that we've already been seeing between Pedri and Lewandowski, between Usman Dembele and Lewandowski. And I feel like the central figure in this is Lewandowski. Everywhere up front, he's everywhere. He's goes back to the midfield to get the ball and pass. He's finishing. He's connecting with the wingers. It's pretty unbelievable to see. And the difference is drastic between what we had last year when it comes to that, and what we're seeing today. These link ups up front, we missed that since Suarez and Messi and Neymar had that connection. We didn't have that since then. So seeing
Mhm.
those is very satisfying. And it only can go great from here. With that in mind, we still need to be mindful that these are just their first few weeks in Barca shirts. It's gonna take a while before we actually see their full potential, including Rafinha, including Kessier, including Even Usman Dembele, it feels like a fresh signing because we hadn't had that for the last few years. This is his first season actually starting to from the beginning of the season actually playing to his potential. So it's going to be very exciting to see where they take this for this season, how good they'll become over the next few weeks.
Yeah, definitely. I agree in with that sentiment. I think what we need to stress um, is that, and something that I didn't think was going to happen, because mostly um, when I watched Bayern games, I recognized Lewandowski as a fantastic goal scorer, some amazing striker. I mean, the stats speak for themselves. It's not debatable what he did for Bayern and beforehand in Dortmund. It speaks for itself. But what surprised me is that he makes everybody around him better. Everybody around him profits from his style of play, because I really thought he was someone who's waiting for the ball to come his way, and have that that sense of a striker and be at the right time, uh, just where you need him, scoring headers, tap ins, and stuff. But that guy, some of his assists, even though they didn't lead to goals, are absolutely out of this world. And he does make everybody around him better. And his confidence does make everybody around him better. And that's something that I didn't believe in. I didn't believe getting Lewandowski would be a great idea, because back then when we had Messi, it was like basically give the ball to Messi and he's doing something with it, because let's face it, it's the best player in the world. I mean, he's got to do something. But even he is human. So, of course, sometimes uh, it doesn't happen. But right now, we have a lot of players believing in themselves. They know we got that guy. He oozes self confidence, and we can be self confident over ourselves and believe in our abilities. And that's what I'm seeing, especially up front. He does make Usman Dembele better. He does make Ansu Fati better. He does make Ferran Torres better. Everybody that plays with him, he makes them better.
Yeah, and again, it's amazing to see that we have a number nine that's like that, and we missed it since Suarez was in his uh, uh, best years. Those are the moments that we would look forward to, him and Messi connecting and him and Neymar connecting,
Mm.
and Iniesta was there, him and Iniesta connecting. So it's awesome to see that we're going back to that again, going back to the point where we're seeing these connections happen, and it's so awesome to watch. The Sevilla game, we'll just I'll go through it quick. What did you, if what was the your best moment from that game?
I don't know if I can recall correctly about specific moments. I think for me, uh, performance wise, what stood out was, of course, Lewandowski and Ter Stegen. For me personally, those two were outstanding, especially Ter Stegen in the first few minutes where we needed him
Yeah,
because it wasn't going our way. Maybe the match plan wasn't. We didn't expect them to be as aggressive as they were, and the match plan was different for us to stand higher and not be pressed down by Sevilla, and they took advantage of that and had those chances that could have gone in. I mean, that pass from Isco on to Rakitic, I think it was absolutely world class, and 9 times out of 10 he puts those in. But Ter Stegen had a strong right hand and denied him. and of course that chance by Yusuf and Naziri
Yeah.
in
Good
the
thing he
World
has
Cup.
two left foot.
He
Left feet.
hmm?
It's a good thing he has two left feet. That's what we call him.
Yeah,
Okay, he has two
yeah,
left. He's not.
yeah. He needs to put those in the World
Yeah, he
Cup.
needs to.
By the way,
Yeah.
but then once again, it wasn't offside. It would have counted that goal, and Ter Stegen denied him. And it's great to see that we have a lot of talent and a lot of great potential in all positions, and that wasn't the case the last few years. I think even last year, when we talk about Araujo and Balde, who had a couple of games, we can we saw the potential, but it wasn't fully realized. But now there is a potential that in something that might grow out of this. So we have a lot of good defenders with Christensen, with Kunde, with Araujo, with Eric Garcia, who's playing so far, playing a great season. It's a joy to see this, and I hope that Marcos Alonso and Bellerin can keep up and put in some good performances as well, because the season is long and we need everyone to be on point. That's what I said last season. We didn't have that depth, but we had players, and there were always some individual mistakes that led to the whole game collapsing, and us not being able to rebound. And I think with Lewandowski, someone who puts confidence in players, and I think there is genuine excitement and happiness when everyone scores. It doesn't matter, but we have that one goal scorer that can absolutely score goals in crucial moments, and that's Lewandowski. But if Dembele does something, Lewandowski doesn't get angry, and so far and so not. I mean, as a footballer, of course, play the ball. I'm free here. It's human nature. You you will say something, but it goes on, and he's not like, I don't want to play, not something like Mbappe did, for example.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
just cockiness,
When
being
we saw
cocky.
that when and if you remember an opportunity in the first half against Sevilla, where the last when the last
Yeah,
minutes, I think.
Dembele, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the last attack.
And I felt bad for Lewandowski, dude. Sprinted from like hour and a half of the field all the way. Well,
And what
34-year
a
old
sprint that
sprinting.
was.
Yeah, it was like,
Yeah.
if a 34-year-old sprint that much for the ball, just give him the ball, man. But like,
And on that pace, I mean, he
yeah,
was
he was fast.
fast.
But I was frustrated. I'm like, dude, just pass the ball. Yeah, there was nobody, and when you pass the ball to Lewandowski in that position, it's a guaranteed goal. He would have scored that one. There was nobody but him and Bono at that point because it was only one defender, and it was tracking back with Dembele. So if he
Mhm.
passed it, I would have been a guaranteed goal. But it's I felt frustration, right? And I'm just watching. Imagine Lewandowski there,
Yeah,
like, why the hell didn't you pass the ball, man? Like, there was nobody around me, and I would have had an opportunity to score. Would have put the game to bed right now. But
absolutely.
that stuff happens. Sometimes you're in
Mhm.
that zone and you think you can do it, so you follow your instinct and try to score. It didn't work out that time. But like you said, it didn't affect their game. They came
There
back
was
and scored
no
more.
animosity between them, so it's
No, yeah,
not like
yeah,
he took grudge or something.
yeah,
So, and that's what I, of course, we are talking about games early in the season. Maybe
yeah,
down the line, if somebody does some stupid shit, it could affect the team spirit. I'm not too sure, but as of right now, I think it's all in good spirit. So they try things, and Lewandowski is some sort of a leader, something that we didn't have in the last seasons. You have somebody with experience up front, and I think after Messi and Suarez left, that wasn't the case anymore. We had a
Mm,
lot of youngins up front, and even though Aubameyang was up front, he's not the leader type. So he's not. That's not his character. I think he's great, a great spirit, and is good to have in a team. And to be honest, I would prefer him to have stayed instead of Memphis.
yeah,
If I'm being quite honest, but we cannot forget what Memphis did for us
yeah,
in the last season, especially at the beginning. So
mhm,
we should be thankful either way. But it is what it is. What I'm trying to say is that I hope that continues. I just
yeah.
hope that continues and that they keep playing good football up front and have fun. I think
Yeah, it looks like
it
they're
would be
like having
fun.
fun. That's something that we again, and I keep saying that and everything that's positive that we've been missing. The players didn't look like they were having fun before. Like, I mean, of course they smiles when they score and whatever, but like the way, because you can tell when somebody's having fun by the way they play, the way they pass, the way they control the ball, they look for the other opponent, other teammates and stuff like that. It's it's more of a show now when you watch it. Like they put on a show, especially when they're in that zone, passing back and forth. And we saw that against Pelzen a lot. Once the game was
Mm,
put to bed, they just started passing it around, having fun with it. Some dribbles here and there. It's just not to getting that pressure off of the win. Hell, you can see that they're just having fun with it. It's not something that they need to worry too much about, and that's something that if we keep that mentality where we don't feel the pressure of winning, we just want to have fun and play. I think that's gonna help the team spirit, right? Is everybody's gonna want to go out and play and do their best because it's fun, more fun instead of stressful to play. Um, which will lead me to the let's get into the Pelzen, Victoria Pelzen game. That's the first Champions League game. What did you think of the? I know it's we'll say it's Victoria Pelzen was the one that was going to get plummeted by everybody. Unfortunately,
mm.
they get into this group and everybody's is every team is way better than them. So going into it, although we struggled with teams like this over the last few years, um, we pretty much going in confidently we're gonna win. What did you think of the game afterwards when you after you watched it? How did it make you feel?
Well, I'm going to say while I was watching it, I think the goal that we conceded was it wasn't necessary. It was stupid. It was a
Yeah,
stupid mistake once again. But other than that, it was a great game. Mind you, of course, we need to put it into context, and the real test in the Champions League is going to be Bayern Munich, and
Tuesday.
after
Yeah,
that, Inter Milan. So we are going to be realistic here. So of course, every team needs to be taken seriously. We cannot risk just being arrogant and thinking, well, this will go our way. Because at the end of the day, those are 11 guys that try to get those 3 points.
right.
But at the end of the day, I think when it all was said and done, I thought to myself, that's something that has been missing.
Yeah,
And for a long time we especially last season in the Champions League. We weren't confident. We had barely any shots on goal. Uh, Whether the team was strong or not, we didn't have any shots on goal. And this is something that totally changed. I hope we can maintain this when we play against stronger teams. And the real test is coming up Tuesday, and we will see how it goes.
yeah. No, I agree with you, and it's something that right before I watched it, I was kind of nervous. Before it started, I was kind of
Mm,
nervous. I'm like, okay, so the last few years, this kind of games, we always before we think, okay, well, there's no way we're going to lose this. This is not a very good team we're playing against, and we struggle somehow to score a goal. Sometimes it's even tie the game instead of actually win. So going into it in the beginning, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna keep my hopes up until I see what happens. And once the game started, you can see the team very confident going in. Of course, we saw some changes in the lineup. Not the same one that we saw against Sevilla and against the Valladolid and all those. So we saw a different lineup. We had Kessié in there from the get go. So uh, even though the changes happened, Jordi Alba so started. Even though changes happened, you could still feel the team is playing pretty much in the same level that we've seen. It's still confident,
Mm,
still passing the ball around, still trying to create as much as they can. We created a ton of chances. You can still the team still working, even though we changed some pieces within the lineup. And that's something that if we did it last year, we would have get fucked hard by any team that we played against because we did not have that depth to actually be like, okay, well, I'm going to put this so and so in here instead of this and try to rest this player. That didn't when we did that we didn't win the game when we did that. We were struggling to do that. We didn't even have the
mm,
players to rotate because everybody was injured. But that's not the point.
yeah.
um, so it was once they started playing, I'm like, okay, so I can breathe. I think we'll be able to get put this to bed because we are still having the same confidence that we've had over the last few weeks, and we're creating as many chances that we did over the last few weeks. Um, so yeah, overall, I think it's a really good start for this for the Champions League journey that for this year. I think, like you said, this Tuesday is going to show us our real level. And to stress it is uh, even if we don't win, as long as we put in a show, show what we can do, show that we have the capabilities to actually reach, beyond the group stages, actually compete with Bayern in a way that gives them trouble, not just lay over or lay down and let them roll over us like we did last year. Actually, show up and put in, create chances, give them issues, don't make it easy on them. I think if we see that, I think we should come out of it happy. We know that Bayern has had some rough patches over the last few weeks, but it's still Bayern Munich. When they play against them in Champions
Mm.
League, they're a whole different beast than playing against them in Bundesliga. So we still need to be um, give it our all, but at the same time, us as fans, if we see the team does not perform as well or does not win or struggles a little bit, it shouldn't be a measure that that's how the team is going to be from now on, especially because this is what the first month of the season. um, but I have confidence that we will show up and we will do a great we'll put a great match. um, what do you think? Because I think we're just Pels in one. I think it's pretty much there's not really much to talk about as far as that goes because we pretty much dominated everything there. So as far as the Bayern game, what do you think? Uh, what do you think? First of all, what do you think will have? What do you think the lineup will be? Since we've changed a lot over the last few weeks, and what do you
That's a
think?
difficult one. That's very difficult. I cannot.
That's right. It's a
I
good
don't
thing,
know.
right?
Yeah, I'm not too sure if it's a good thing. For me personally,
For for the
I would,
opponents is a bad thing.
I would, I would have Ter Stegen in goal, Balde on the left side. I would put in Christensen, Araujo, and Kunde on the right side.
Okay.
Kunde and Araujo can switch if necessary. I think Busquets, Gavi, and Pedri are set. For me, that they are
Yeah.
set. Um, in the second half, we can try Frankie De Jong instead of Busquets or Gavi if
Mhm.
something. If we need a defensive stability, we can put in Kessié. And if we need physicality as well, up front, of course, Dembele, Rafinha, and
Lewandowski.
Lewandowski. That would be my lineup.
Why would you put? Why would you put? I don't think Christensen plays well on the left side. So why wouldn't you put Eric there since he's been playing really well on that side?
And because I think we need somebody who's and they are good at set pieces. And I think we need his physicality more than we need Eric Garcia's ball distribution. That's my opinion. And I don't think Christensen's ball distribution is that bad.
No, it's not. But I just said because it's if he's not comfortable playing the left side, do you think Araujo would play there instead? Then
That's tricky. I don't know. Or maybe just switch Christensen and Kunde.
yeah, that's gonna be the thing because if you think about set pieces, if we have Araujo and Kunde there, and Lewandowski goes back to help with the set pieces, I don't think we'll have to worry too much about headers because the reason why they were good at headers, they had Lewandowski and they had Muller there up front as far as people that are actually really good in the air. But take Lewandowski out, and you only have Muller there, and we have plenty of tall players that are physical that can actually take him out. So
Yeah, I don't count. I don't count. I think the timing of Busquets is really bad in the air. So he is not good at defending.
no,
Set
I didn't even count Busquets.
No, no, but
Kunde,
I'm saying so
yeah,
it's not an even match out. So we need to be wary that they are still a physically strong team, and I think Matthias de Ligt. Don't you forget Matthias de
oh
Ligt.
yeah,
They
that's true.
have some players that Upamecano as well. They are physically strong, and we need to uh, out. To dominate them physically and outplay them in the midfield. That's what we need
Right,
to do. Dominate them physically, just straight up show them you are not going to play your game. We are
yeah,
going to intervene. We are going to if needed, we are going to foul, not in an unfair way. Just stop their flow, if needed.
yeah,
And you need those players. And I don't think, I mean, with Gavi, we have a player like that who's willing to press and be a pain in the ass. But we need a lot of physicality, and I think Christensen and Araujo in our defense is needed.
well, I agree with that. I just that I don't know if that's. I mean, you have to think about other aspects of it too. So I don't know what Java is going to prioritize. Because if
Mhm.
Christensen's not comfortable playing on that left side and is going to have a hard time positioning for that, then
Yeah.
it's just going to hurt us in other aspects of the game. So it's going to be interesting what he's going to pick, who's going to choose. I think my lineup would be pretty much the same as you. Um, and yeah, and we'll see what happens. I think we have a better chance of winning this time around than last year. A big chance of winning this time, especially seeing Bayern how they're struggling. But
But
it's still
it's
it's I
not an
think it's 50
indicator.
50.
They struggled before
Yeah, but
in the
they
league.
lost. They don't have. I know I'm gonna sound petty, but like it's. I don't think they're on the same level as they were last year. They lost one of their best players, and we have that best player. And I think defensively, they're still not as good as they were last few years. So from that perspective, even last year, if we had the better forwards, I think we would have given them a lot of trouble. We just didn't have that, especially in the second game. We had fucking Abday and Elias, I think, who I can remember who played. We didn't have any of our first team up front, which is
Mm,
crazy. But I feel like this time around we have a better chance of hurting them, um, and we have way faster players up front than we had last year. So it's gonna be interesting how what approach we're gonna try to do. Either we're gonna try to dominate uh, possession as we usually do, or we're gonna try to hang tight and play their game and try to counterattack with Rafinha and Usman Dembele. So we'll see what happens. Uh, but it's gonna be very interesting to see uh, who's gonna come out on top.
most definitely, it's going to be an interesting game, and hopefully, it's going to be a fight. That's something that we need to see from Barcelona, especially in the Champions League. It's been lacking for
Yeah.
quite some while.
Do you want to touch on the last game that we did yesterday? Just uh
against Cadiz.
against Cadiz. Yeah. You want to start
Yeah,
us
we
off
had some.
with the lineup
Yeah,
just
we
so we
had
can set up?
some. Yeah, we had some changes in the lineup, notably in the back and in the midfield, with Cassier coming in and yeah, nah, Frankie De Jong. It was
Frankie De
Frankie De
Jong. Yeah.
Jong and Gavi and Busquets.
Mm.
Then we had Jordi Alba, right, on the left hand side, and Bellerin on the right side.
I think we had
Or
the Balde. We didn't have
Balde.
a yeah.
Okay, so Bellerin was
Bellerin was right
one.
for right. Yeah.
uh,
We had Memphis up
Piquet,
front.
and Piquet
And
was.
PK. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it was. I think the game went how games like teams at the end of the table goes. They try to defend. Sometimes they press. Sometimes they don't. You need to be on your A game, and it's good to have those clean sheets. To be honest,
Yeah.
I think it's something that Ter Stegen has been looking for a long time. A good defending and having those possibilities to shine when he's needed, because he's not going to be able to save a team from like when there are 25 to 30 shots on goal. So that should never happen, and it does not happen with a good defensive line. And it's just good to see that we can rest players if needed and just put them in and have more pressure on the opponent, something that has been missing as well. And in the league, I think we can compete.
Yeah.
It's obvious that we can compete because of our depth, and I think in the long run, God willing, if nothing too drastic happens in terms of injuries, I think in the long run we might have the best squad in terms of depth, pure depth.
I think in La Liga we already do have that. I think if you look at the names that we have versus other players, other teams, it's night and day what we have and what they have. Even against even Real Madrid, if you look at their bench versus our bench, it's not even comparable. We have so
Yeah, I
many
mean
people
on
there
paper, but when we
on
talk
paper.
about,
Yeah, yeah,
we need to respect Real Madrid. They've some of those players have been playing for so long that they know how to play with each other. We don't have that experience yet, so we need to be fair when it comes to that. I
yeah,
think they have a really good bench, just based on the experience that they have and the spirit that they have. But I know what you mean. It's when we talk about just pure on paper, when you see what we have on the bench, it's another 11 guys that could play on a good level against any other team. So I mean any other team in La Liga, of course.
yeah.
We need our best 11 men to play against Inter or Bayern. So that should be a no brainer.
Yeah, 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 and that's exciting to see, man. I don't remember the last time we've had that since Barca's Pep that we had uh players that we can put up the pretty much a half of the team that's the first starter out, and then we'll still feel like we put in another team that's 11 starters again. It just feels like we have two teams, and and that's something that I think Xavi should play on, and try to. I mean, it'll help when you're playing against a team that they don't know which lineup you're gonna play. They don't know who you're gonna play on the right, who you're gonna play on the left, who's gonna be the midfield. It's gonna be De Jong, Cassier, Pedro. Who you gonna play? Having that those doubts on other people, other coaches, I think is gonna help us when we play against teams that like to stay back. They're not gonna know who's gonna be the player they're gonna focus on until last minute, which might be too late to change some of the tactics, or once you change the tactics, it doesn't work out as you planned. So I think having too many options for us is a good thing, in that aspect. Of course, as long as everybody's happy with it, right? Because sometimes you have players that do not like that they have to sit in the bench for certain games. They want to play all the time, which in modern
Mm.
football is just stupid because nobody's going to play all the time. With the amount of games that there are for the season, especially when you have a European Championship or a World Cup, it's just outlandish if that's your thought. It's to play every game. So
I think if you have that guarantee that you are a starter, somebody like Lewandowski, I think uh, just doesn't care if he's starting against Cadiz because he knows, okay, if shit hits the fan, I'm probably going to
we're gonna
get
go in. Yeah,
substituted anyway. So I think down the line when it gets closer to especially I think for him if it comes to a duel with Benzema over the
Pichichi.
Pichichi Awards or something like that, he's going to want to play every game just to score.
Yeah.
So and sometimes that wouldn't be possible because you got an important game next week or something like that, and Xavi's going to take him out or whatever the case may be. I think right now we shouldn't worry about those kind of things. And to see him coming in 30 minutes, assist, goal, is just puts a lot of confidence in him as well. So you shouldn't be too worried.
Yeah, and it's something that man, it's just exciting to see us again, winning 4-0, 4-1, 5-1, whatever. Just
Uh,
scoring a lot of goals. So let's see. You want to give us a prediction as far as Bayern? What do you think the scoreline is going to be, and who you think is going to be the best player for the match
on their side,
on our side?
on our side, our best player.
Yeah.
If everything goes as planned and we put our best lineup and we have our best possible play and display that as intended, it should be probably between Ter Stegen and Lewandowski. So those are the main characters that are going to be crucial for victory, draw, or loss. I
Yeah.
think. As far as Bayern go, I think they know about their strengths and they always come back. And I don't think it's too positive for us that they had those mishaps and those draws beforehand because right now they are looking for some redemption, something that they can build up on. And we are right now we are playing good football and we are confident and it's going to show. I mean, who's going to play well, who's going to control the game. It's going to be a very very exciting game to watch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I agree with you. I think the right and left back is going to play a really really crucial role for us too. Um, so having Balde and Kunde and top notch form and focused, I think those are going to be our men of the match. Uh, if they stay focused because they rely so much on the wings, and how fast they are in the wings. So I think if we can block that, which makes me think Araujo might actually play in the right back instead of Kunde because Araujo is way faster and more physical than Kunde. So that
Hmm.
could be the what Xavi will do. But either way, whoever plays in those positions has to be focused 100%. Um, and blocking those passes and those crosses that they're going to be putting from the wing is going to be crucial. Um, so
Yeah.
so so it's going to be, like I said, very interesting in how they're going to both coaches approach the game. Um,
Mm.
and it's going to give us an idea on our level. Are we ready to compete with the elites this year, or do we still need time? Recruiting is
Definitely.
great. We have great players, but implementing ideas against stronger teams, we haven't had that yet
Definitely.
in a competitive setting. We played against Madrid, Juve in the summer, but those never count uh,
Mm.
as far
No,
as
they don't.
right. So we need to know our level against top teams. So we'll see what happens. But
Well, I think it's an important indicator, of course, but I think the real indicator is Inter Milan because we need to win those
yeah,
both games. So
yeah,
if we somehow fuck up one or both, then it's done.
yeah,
We don't even need to talk about anything else. Um, we should compete against Bayern. That should always be our motivation,
hmm
and for the players, should always be the goal to win a game. Never just try to draw or just play good and lose the game. That shouldn't be the motivation. The motivation is go on the field and win that game. But we need to be realistic. It's really early in the season, and things can happen. But you need to show that you can compete. That's the first thing, and after that, we need to definitely be at least better than Inter Milan.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, we'll connect on Tuesday right after the game and react to it
Yeah,
and give our thoughts early this time around. We've been kind of doing all kinds of things last couple of weeks, so we haven't been able to get together and react properly. But we'll do it this week. If you guys like highlights, we've been uploading some things to the YouTube channel. Check it out there, and support us as much as you can and share your content and everything else, and
and I think
subscribe and like and all that stuff.
after the game against Elche, there's
Yeah,
going to be a little break, right?
break. Yeah, I think so. International break, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
after Elche, we will have some news, and hopefully this time these international breaks, if until then we have a good showing against Bayern and then um, against Elche.
yeah,
Hopefully the international break doesn't interrupt our
fuck us
rhythm.
our rhythm. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, well, the good thing is our number nine. Well, yeah, he's still gonna go, but yeah, we'll see. Because our number nine is
yeah.
not going to the World Cup, so they would have to worry about pressure there. uh,
Yeah, some are not, but a lot of them are.
yeah,
I mean, just Pedri and Gavi and Busquets. That's our midfield. It is
yeah, but they
going.
play together in the national team, so that's still okay because they'll be
It's
playing with
not
each other.
about the rhythm, but it's about them being exhausted.
It's true.
Uh,
Yeah, that usually kills us, doesn't it? When we go back from international break, it just
uh,
fucks up the rhythm, and we have to build all that stuff
you
all over
have
again.
basically our midfield. Even Frankie De Jong is going.
Yeah,
Memphis Depay is going. Kunde possibly,
yeah, Kunde would. Yeah, French.
uh,
Yeah, he plays for the national
and
team.
then and then you have Dembele maybe,
Yeah.
Rafinha of course, but Rafinha possibly not playing a big role in the Brazil squad.
After the
Well,
performance
you
he's
have
putting this to now, he better be
you
a
have
starter.
Neymar and Vinicius and
No, in
Rodrigo there.
position, his position is not Neymar on the
Well,
right
you have
side.
Vinicius and Neymar and Rodrigo.
Yeah, he's better than Rodrigo though, in my opinion. In my opinion, he's gonna put way more balls because they don't rely so much on
They have a
that
lot of
from that
wingers.
side.
You got to admit that. Yeah, they
No,
have
they
a
do.
lot
Of
of wingers.
course they do. Of course, but I'm saying that he'll play a
Antony,
role. I'm not saying he's not gonna play or he's gonna start every game, or I'm saying he's
Yeah,
still gonna have minutes. He's still
yeah,
gonna play.
he's going to have minutes, but not like crazy. He's not, in my opinion, he's not going to start every game.
No, he's not. No.
No.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, do you have anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
No, no. I'm just curious how it goes on Tuesday, and we will know sooner than later.
Yeah. It's exciting. Hopefully we can get some good night's sleep on Tuesday night.
Hopefully,
But
hopefully.
yeah, all right, cool. So that's it, folks. Make sure you subscribe and like and do all that stuff that you do. Listen to us on Spotify, all the podcast applications. Watch us here on YouTube. Watch the highlights that we do. And, take care.